She walked in as a customer. They treated her like she didn't belong. 10 minutes later, they were all out of a job. It wasn't about money. Monica Traylor had plenty of it. She was 44 years old, born and raised in Wichita Falls, Texas, and now the CEO of a tech firm that had doubled its valuation 2 years in a row. Her company, Trilonix Financial, had just completed the acquisition of 3 regional banks across the Midwest. One of them was the branch on East Livingston Avenue, Columbus, Ohio, this very place. It was just another ordinary Tuesday morning. Monica pulled her silver Tesla into the front lot. She carried a black leather bag. No assistant, no driver, no security. Just Monica in black slacks, a navy blouse, and her natural curls pulled into a neat low bun. Gold earrings, neatly trimmed nails. The kind of woman who doesn't need to talk much to command authority. She walked into the bank at 9:03 a.m. right as the doors opened. The air smelled faintly of fresh coffee and copier toner. A middle-aged man in khakis wearing a name tag stood at the front desk. He glanced up, then back down, saying nothing. Monica gave a polite nod and walked straight toward the business services area like she had every right to be there, because she did. Behind the glass counter were 2 tellers. One was young, wearing bright red lipstick and a high bun. The other looked older, possibly South Asian, flipping through a yellow folder. Neither of them looked up. Another woman, coach bag, oversized sunglasses, walked in behind Monica and was immediately greeted at the personal banking area. Monica waited for a long time. Finally, the red lipstick teller looked up. Her name tag read Shelby. Yes, she asked, as though Monica were interrupting something important. I'm here to discuss the business account transition. My company completed the acquisition last week. I just want to make sure everything's aligned before Friday. Shelby smirked. You'll need an appointment. We don't handle that here. Her tone made it sound like Monica should have known that already. I called yesterday, Monica replied, still calm. They said someone named Devin would be in from 9 to noon. Shelby rolled her eyes and glanced around. Devin's not in yet. You can wait. Monica glanced at the 3 empty chairs behind her, then at her watch, 9:07. Could you let someone know I'm here? It won't take long. Shelby sighed loudly. I'll let them know, she said, eyes still glued to the screen. But that wasn't even the part that bothered Monica the most. She sat quietly, eyes on the flat-screen TV playing the morning news soundtracked by Ain't No Mountain High Enough. 10 minutes passed, then 15. People came and went. A middle-aged man in a blue golf shirt came to ask about an investment transfer. Shelby smiled at him, a real smile, asked about his daughter. He left with a handshake and a printed receipt. Monica stood up, walked to the counter. Excuse me, she said. Has Devin arrived yet? Shelby gave a tight smile. Not yet. But I said I'd let you know when someone's available. Monica glanced toward the office area. Can I speak to anyone who is available, ma'am? I told you we'll call you when someone is ready. Monica nodded. All right. She turned and walked past a couple who had just come in. They were greeted instantly, led straight into an office. The man in the couple gave Monica a glance, then quickly looked away. 5 minutes later. Monica stood up again. Her face was calm, but her eyes had changed. This time she walked straight past the counter, heading toward the office hallway. A young black woman wearing headphones stepped in to block her path. Hello, ma'am. Can I help you with something I'm looking for? Devin, Monica replied. Or anyone who can respond quickly about the business account I called about yesterday. The young woman behind the counter hesitated. She glanced down at her tablet, then looked back up, her voice uncertain. Devin's not in. Let me double-check the schedule. Sorry, you said your name was... After just one short introduction from Monica, the expression on the young woman's face changed instantly. Her eyes blinked a little faster and her tone softened. Could you wait a moment for the branch manager? I'll notify Ms. Lehman right away. Monica turned back to the waiting area and sat down. Her phone buzzed a message from Ellis Duque, the CEO. Everything okay at that branch? She stared at the screen, thought about replying. It's fine, thought about lying. Instead she typed, not exactly. Give me 10 minutes. Just as she slipped her phone back into her purse, she heard someone whisper behind the counter. No idea why she's still sitting there, Shelby muttered, not quietly enough. She's not even dressed for the suite office. Her coworker laughed. Totally. Some people think just having a business card means they own the place. Monica clenched her jaw. No reaction, no movement. Not yet. A silver-haired man in a charcoal suit walked through the front doors. The badge on his lapel read Regional Director. Just from the way the staff behind the counter straightened up, Monica knew this man wasn't on the morning schedule. He walked directly toward her. "Ms. Traylor," he asked. Monica stood. "Yes. I'm Monica. I'm Thomas Beck, Regional Director. I believe there's been a misunderstanding. May we speak privately?" He glanced behind her, not at Monica, but at the staff. His expression was ice. Monica gave a polite smile. "We can talk right here." Thomas hesitated, then nodded. "Of course." He turned to the front desk, his voice echoing through the lobby. "All staff here, meeting room now. Shelby, lead the way." Shelby blinked, confused. "Excuse me, for what reason? You'll be informed in 5 minutes." "Meeting room. Now." Silence fell heavy as a hammer. Shelby and the others walked off quietly, confusion on their faces. Someone muttered something, but this time no one dared to laugh. Monica pulled out her phone and started typing. But the most unforgettable moment of that morning hadn't happened yet. It came next. Thomas Beck stood silently, arms crossed, eyes locked on the office hallway like he was waiting for a fire alarm. Monica still hadn't said a word. She just scrolled on her phone with her thumb steadily, calmly, as if checking a grocery list. She wasn't angry, she was calculating. At last she looked up "Call Ellis," direct line. Thomas didn't hesitate. He pulled out his phone and dialed. They stood together by the glass doors. Inside the meeting room, 5 employees sat with their heads down like students awaiting the principal. Monica didn't look at them. She didn't need to. "I didn't come here to humiliate anyone," she said softly. "That's not how I lead." Thomas nodded silently. "But if you can't treat customers with basic human decency, then you don't belong in any financial institution, especially not one operating under my name." Thomas's mouth twitched, as if trying to swallow a sigh. "Understood." Just then, Devin finally appeared in the hallway, pale-faced shirt hastily tucked crooked on one side. He slowed down the moment he saw Monica, then saw Thomas, then the group of staff inside the meeting room. "What's going on?" Devin stammered. Monica looked him straight in the eyes, handled. Devin lowered his gaze, unsure whether to sit down, walk away, or vanish into thin air. Thomas stepped forward, opened the meeting room door, and said clearly, "She has a few words." The room went so still you could almost hear the heartbeat of everyone inside. Monica stepped in. No introductions, no dramatic pauses, just truth. "I'm here today on behalf of Trilonics Financial. We finalized the acquisition of this bank chain last Friday. I visited over a dozen branches this week. Each one treated me with respect, some even warmly." She paused. "But here I sat in the waiting area for over 30 minutes. I was told to wait, then ignored, then told I should leave. None of you knew who I was. That doesn't bother me. I don't need special treatment. But how you treat people you don't know, that matters." Shelby shifted in her seat, eyes glued to the table. The others remained frozen. Monica tilted her head slightly to the right. Shelby gave a stiff nod. "Can you tell me why the woman who came in after me twice was served before me?" No answer. "Or why you felt the need to comment on whether I looked like I belonged in the business account area?" Still silence. Thomas stood in the corner, arms crossed, eyes lowered. Monica went on. "I'm not angry, but I am disappointed, and I have every right to be." She pulled out her phone and tapped once. The screen lit up with a notification. Effective immediately, she said, "Shelby Langston, Derek Hanley, and Patricia Mita are terminated. You will receive formal letters from HR by noon. Security access has been revoked. Final paychecks will be mailed." The air in the room turned thick. You could almost feel the heat of it. Patricia, silent until now, whispered, "Wait, are you firing us?" Monica looked her dead in the eyes. "Yes. And this is just how we've always done it." She raised her eyebrows. "Precisely." Then she turned to Thomas. "The rest will remain for retraining. Full oversight. You'll coordinate with Ellis. I want the next report on Friday. You know what I like: clean, direct, and real." Thomas nodded. Then Monica said something, not just sharp, but cutting to the bone. "I'm not here to scare anyone. But I'm also not here to babysit grown adults who don't know how to behave decently toward strangers." And with that, she walked out. As she stepped back into the lobby, the young black woman from earlier, still wearing her headphones, stood and gave Monica a small nod. This time Monica nodded back. But this wasn't about revenge. It was about something deeper. And the real conversation hadn't even started yet. When Monica stepped outside, the atmosphere had shifted. Clouds were rolling in from the west, thick and low, casting long shadows across the parking lot. She walked to her car but didn't get in. Instead, she leaned against the door, arms folded, her gaze calm. Inside the bank, the panic still hadn't fully settled. Shelby had locked herself in the break room. Derek sat on the edge of the conference table, pale as a ghost. Patricia was crying, mumbling something no one could quite make out. Thomas stood in the middle of the floor phone, pressed to his ear. "Yes, Ellis." "No," she didn't raise her voice even once. "Yes, it's been handled." He hung up and turned to Devin. "You just dodged a bullet. If you'd said one wrong word this morning." Devin raised both hands. "I didn't even know she was here until I heard the name." Thomas nodded. And that was the problem. She had been in the lobby for nearly 40 minutes. In the parking lot, Monica was still standing there as if she wasn't quite finished, because she wasn't. A blue Toyota pulled up. Out stepped a man in a navy coat and dark slacks, salt and pepper beard, Ellis Deuce, COO of Trilonics Financial, walking like someone who'd fired a department before breakfast and closed a $10 million deal by lunch. He approached her. "You all right?" Monica nodded. "Want me to go in?" She shook her head. "Handled. But we'll need HR to draft a new training module, one that actually works." Ellis exhaled. "I'll write it tonight. Want me to talk to the press team?" "This might leak." "I hope it does," Monica said softly. Ellis paused a beat. "What about the young woman out front, the one with the headphones?" For the first time that day, Monica smiled. She held the line. Professional. Didn't try to block me. And she listened. Ellis made a note on his phone. "Got it. Promotion overdue. But first I want to meet her." Inside the branch, Thomas had gathered the remaining staff back in the conference room. "She's gone," he said. "But don't confuse that with being forgotten." Everyone looked up. "I've worked at this bank chain for 20 years. I've seen 4 acquisitions. I've seen execs come in, cut staff, smile for the cameras, and disappear. But Monica Traylor isn't that kind of executive." He paused, letting the silence speak. "She remembers names. She watches behavior. She makes decisions based on how people treat those who don't look like money." Devin whispered. "So, what happens now?" Thomas looked around the room. "Now you all get a second chance. But I swear if any of you act like today meant nothing, it will be your last day here." He turned to the young woman with the headphones who had quietly returned to her seat. "What's your name, Janelle?" "Janelle Rowe." Thomas smiled. "Miss Traylor wants to see you before she leaves." Janelle blinked, stunned. "Me. Yes." Outside, Monica stood up straighter as Janelle approached. The young woman looked nervous, clutching a small notebook like it was a shield. "You called for me, ma'am," Monica smiled. "You can call me Monica." "Yes, ma'am." "Monica." "Tell me something," Monica began. "Why didn't you brush me off when I said I was here about Devin?" Janelle shifted her white eyes, never leaving Monica's face. "Because I recognized your name. I read all the internal memos. But even if I hadn't, you didn't seem like someone who walks in without a reason." Monica raised an eyebrow. Janelle continued. "You walked in like you had a purpose. People like that deserve to be heard no matter who they are." Monica nodded, satisfied. "Ever thought about going into project management?" Janelle's eyes widened. "You mean—" "Eventually, yes." "Good. You'll hear from Ellis. Keep doing what you're doing, and don't let anyone train you out of that." Janelle smiled, moved. "Thank you, ma'am." Monica stepped into her car. She didn't look back. But what was said inside that branch wouldn't stay there. And one of those things was about to change someone's life completely. The next morning, the branch didn't open at 900. The doors stayed locked until 9:17, with a small sign taped to the glass, "Closed until 10:30 for staff restructuring and compliance meeting." Inside, the air was thin. The room, once filled with whispers and sidelong glances, now felt like a silent courtroom. Thomas Beck stood at the front, holding a stack of freshly printed training protocols. Devin sat in the far corner, studying them like an exam. This time, Janelle sat in the front row, taking detailed notes. No one questioned why. Across town, in a modest brick building, the Trayon X Regional HR office, Monica sat with a small group of senior executives. She didn't say much. She didn't need to. Monica read through every file: resumes, performance reports, personal feedback. Ellis sat beside her, flipping through his stack. "You sure about keeping Devin?" he asked. Monica didn't look up. "I'm sure. He was careless, not malicious. And people like that, if corrected early, can grow." Ellis nodded. "You're playing the long game. I always play the long game. Plan for that branch." Put Janelle on a 6-month development track. Pair her with a steady assistant manager to mentor her. Give the whole team a new focus. Ellis smiled. You're betting on her. She bet on me, when no one else did. At the Shelby branch, Derek and Patricia were gone, their names erased from the system before noon. Desks reassigned, emails bounced. Thomas stood in the middle of the room like his presence alone kept the floor from splitting open. You all need to understand something, he said. This isn't just about one morning, it's not just about one customer. It's about a culture one where people get used to looking down on others instead of looking them in the eye. No one argued. Monica Traylor had every authority to shut down the entire branch and rebuild it from scratch. But she didn't. She gave them a chance to fix it. Don't waste it. Devin raised his hand, not high, just enough to be seen. What does fixing it look like? Thomas looked him in the eye. It looks like humility. It looks like making sure that the next time someone like Monica walks into this branch, they're respected without having to prove they deserve it. Devin nodded. In the break room, Janelle sat alone, scrolling through her phone between tasks. She looked up as Devin walked in, holding 2 cups of coffee. Hey, he said, offering her one. She accepted, cautious but polite. Thanks. He hesitated for a moment, then said, I'm sorry. For what? For not realizing what happened yesterday, for not stepping in, for letting her wait. Janelle gave a small nod, her eyes softening slightly. She chose to keep me on, he added, after everything, because she saw something. Janelle smiled. She doesn't waste time on people she doesn't see potential in. Devin let out a soft laugh. You sound like you know her. I don't know her personally, but I've seen her, and for me that's enough. Meanwhile, in a different branch, one Monica had never stepped foot in before she walked in. No announcement, no fanfare, just a woman with something to do. And this time the cashier greeted her before the door even closed. Good morning, how can I help you today? Monica smiled. This time there was no test. Just business as usual, cashing a check, moving some funds, a few pleasant questions. At the end, she pulled out a business card. If your manager has a moment, I'd like to speak with them, just to say thank you. The cashier glanced at the card, read the name, blinked rapidly. I'll let them know right away. Monica waited, sipping the water she'd been offered without needing to ask. No tension, no calculations, just a quiet satisfaction. But she wasn't done. Not until the bystanders understood this wasn't just about a bank. Monica didn't need praise. She never had. What happened at that Columbus branch wasn't retaliation. It wasn't power. It was about standards. Not just standards for employees, but for people. That weekend, Monica sat across from a group of interns at Trelonics HQ in Cincinnati, 18 fresh out of college professionals, shiny shoes, stiff smiles. She didn't need to shout to command attention, just clarity. I'm going to tell you something no textbook teaches, she said, arms crossed on the table. How you treat people when you think they can't do anything for you, that's the real resume the world remembers. A tall female intern with braided hair set her pen down. Was it hard not to react in that moment? Monica smiled. Of course it was. Every cell in my body wanted to flip that desk. But yelling doesn't teach anything. The only thing that makes people truly learn is silence. Silence so loud they have to hear themselves. Pens scratched, pages filled. She stood, walked to the whiteboard, and wrote 4 words. Respect has no label. One day you'll walk into a room where people judge you by your skin color, your voice, your name, your shoes. Let them. But never judge yourself by their yardstick. A few heads nodded. One quietly wiped away tears. Monica continued, What happened at that branch? It still happens every day. It doesn't always end the way it did for me. But don't be mistaken, this isn't a story about money or titles. She paused. It's a story about reminders. And my story is simple. Never underestimate the quiet one. That afternoon, despite her packed schedule, Monica took 10 minutes to call Janelle. You made the right choice when no one else dared to. Hold on to that instinct. It'll take you further than any training ever will. And it did. Because by December, when promotion candidates were being discussed, Janelle's name came up. Not because she was loud, not because of luck, but because someone in power noticed that she didn't follow the crowd. That's how change begins. Not in boardrooms, not in headlines, but in quiet moments when someone chooses to do the right thing even when no one is watching. Now it's your turn. If someday you have power, even a little, use it to raise standards, not just raise your voice. If you see someone being treated like they don't belong, don't look away. Because the truth is, no one needs to wear their resume on their chest to deserve to be treated like a human being. And you, what will you do? If you're Monica, what will you do? And if you're standing beside someone like Monica, what will you do next time? Let that question echo inside you. Because the world really does change in moments like this. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed a relaxing and captivating storytelling experience. If you liked the video, don't forget to like and subscribe. Your support gives me the motivation to create more amazing content.